Hey, what's up guys? It's Flexx and welcome to episode 3 of Ask Flexx. And if you've been living under a rock, this is the video series where I answer your questions. So if you have any questions for me, leave them in the comment section below and I'll try my best to answer it in the next Ask Flexx video. Okay, let's get to it. First question, what are your thoughts on the C200? Well, here's the thing. I live in the US. We don't have a C200. I honestly don't even know what that is. I'm assuming it's a W205 C-Class, but for maybe a different market, Europe, Asia, I don't really know. But assuming if it's also a turbo 4-cylinder engine and it's the same body style, I like it. I like my W205, so I don't see why I wouldn't like the C200. Okay, next question. Do you like the CLA 45 AMG? So any AMG I like. It doesn't matter if it's like an entry-level AMG like a C43 or a higher performance like a C63. Any AMGs I like. I like the aggressive styling and I also like the performance that comes along with it, even if it's a little bump in power or a lot of bump in power. The CLA in general, I wasn't really a big fan of that body style when it first came out, but it's grown on me a lot. And what they've done for the CLA 45 AMG, I think it looks really good and there's some performance to back it up, which I think is always a plus. So the CLA 45 AMG in my book is a great car. So next question. I've been watching your videos for a few years now and it inspired me to do some changes like you. Thanks. But I don't have the funds like you did. DMP Car Design sponsored you, but can you do a video on cheaper alternative parts? Okay, so this is kind of dicey. When I first started my YouTube, I was installing cheap alternative parts because I didn't have any sponsors. The issue I ran into having cheap alternative parts is exactly that. They're cheap. They're not made really well. You can buy them on eBay, Amazon, AliExpress, Alibaba, you name it. There's no technical support, there's no warranty, and there's no guarantee that it's going to work or fit properly. Having a sponsor like DMP Car Design, a company that will find parts and make them better, and offer a warranty and a return period and technical support. In my opinion, you pay a little more, but you get a lot more as well. Hence why I don't really do a lot of cheap alternative parts on my cars anymore. Even if DMP Car Design didn't carry a specific part and I could find something that looks the same online, I'm kind of dicey about installing it on my car unless I do the install, I test it out for several months, and I feel that I'm really confident in it, then I'll release a video on that specific part. So I hope that answered your question, but I don't think I'm going to be installing cheap alternative parts because of just the lack of quality, the lack of returns, and the lack of technical support. Okay, next question. Oh, jeez. Why do you hate BMW? Here we go. Okay, so I don't hate BMW. I dislike it because of 3 reasons. 1, I'm not a fan of the way it looks. I hate the way the kidney grills look from back in the 70s and 80s to, I mean, look at the M3 and M4 now. They're hideous. I don't know how they even got that design approved, to be honest. So yeah, I don't really like the looks of it. The second part is reliability. I always hear issues of, transmission issues, engine issues, oil leaks, this, that, electrical problems. And this is not me just making this up. This is me having friends and family who own BMWs and having all these issues. And also when you go online, you read about it in the forums, they're everywhere. Yes, there are probably some really reliable ones, but I hear way too many horror stories that I'm just not a fan of BMW when it comes to reliability. Okay, so the third part is I'm not a big fan of people who own BMW. And I'm not saying everyone is this type of person that I'm referring to. I do have friends that own BMWs and they're awesome people and they're not like this at all. But you guys know online, everyone talks, everyone mentions it. BMW drivers are just terrible. They don't know how to drive. They're weaving through traffic. They don't use their turn signals. They don't know how to park. And people kind of just refer them to as assholes. And I tend to agree with it. I've seen a lot of it up in New England and I see a lot of it now in Texas. It's the same exact type of person. And also I feel like BMW owners are kind of pretentious. They don't want to buy an Audi because they feel that's really low class. and they don't want to buy Mercedes because they say it's an old man's car when, geez, for the past how many years I've owned a Mercedes and I've done so many to it, and there's a big following, and it's not just for old guys. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of BMW because of those 3 reasons. Please don't cancel me. Okay, next question. Do you like the Benz/BMW SUV coupes or prefer the traditional style SUV styling? So I like both. And if you're not familiar with SUV coupes, they have the sloping roofline. They look awesome. I really like the way they look. They look like a giant bug that's just super aggressive. The only thing is they're not practical because of that sloping roof line. You can't really fit a lot in the trunk. Also, for rear passengers, headroom's not really there. So for that specific reason, I would rather go with a performance traditional style SUV versus the sport coupe SUV. But again, I like them. I like the way they look. I like the way they sound. I like the way they drive. However, they're just not practical if you're looking for practicality. Okay, next question. Without giving up too much personal information, I don't know where this is going. Would you be able to say what state you live in? And what are some of the mod restrictions you have to contend with? Oh, okay. So I live in Texas. I moved here, 7 months ago? I have a big giant Texas sign right here and I talk about it a lot. So yeah, I live in Texas. But what are some of the mod restrictions I have to deal with? To be honest, I don't deal with a lot of mod restrictions because a lot of my mods are within regulation. And that's not even just in Texas. That was also in Massachusetts and when I was in New Hampshire. I don't really deal with illegal mods. I don't do muffler deletes because that's crazy loud. I don't do catless downpipes because, one, it's also crazy loud and there's a lot of droning and you have to do a lot of crazy tuning to make sure it works. I rather do a high flow catalytic converter downpipe, which means that I still have a catalytic converter which passes emissions. Even with tint, I don't play with illegal tint. Up in Massachusetts, it was 35%, which was okay. New Hampshire, I don't even know where they came up with 75%. That's basically nothing. What's the point of having tint? But still, I followed that. In Texas is a little more lenient. They have 25%, which is darker. And that's what I'm planning to do to my cars, especially with the sunlight down here. It beats down on the car a lot. But yeah, I don't really deal with a lot of restrictions because I don't do any mods or plan any mods that goes against regulation. There's a lot of people that love to do that stuff and it's great for like off-road purposes, but definitely not for the street. So I hope that answered your question. Okay, one more question. When will you post another mod video for the W205C300? Come on, where have you been? I post mod videos like once or twice a month. This is a mod channel, so every time a video goes up, 99% of the time, it's a mod for this C300. Okay, that's it for today. Again, if you have any questions for me, leave it in the comment section below, and I hope I can answer it in the next video, and I will see you next time.